Welcome to Pink Radio with Prestige. This is the place for you, the diva boss entrepreneur who needs quick tips on building your crave-worthy brand. This is your host, Nicole Doss, CEO of the Prestige Society, a membership organization for women entrepreneurs who believe in building powerful networks while slanging in their industries. So I want you to go ahead and grab your favorite cup of coffee and get your favorite tips right here with Prestige. Hey guys, I am so happy to sit with you once again. Today is going to be an awesome conversation because it's all around being afraid. Now, I know we talk about fear in the past, but this is a different angle on it, and I want you to have this conversation with me. So guys, here we go. We're going to jump right into it. So in case you do not know, my name is Nicole Doss, and I'm the CEO and founder of the Prestige Society. We are a membership organization for women entrepreneurs who believe in building powerful networks while slaying in our industries. So that's why we have Pink Radio with Prestige. So once again, let's go get right into it. We're talking about being afraid. So really, I feel like whenever I have these conversations or I decide to do a podcast, it's usually because I'm going through something myself and I have this aha moment. And I truly believe that I do not go through these issues in vain. I believe that I go through these issues because I am definitely building a space where, I feel like a space where women entrepreneurs need to realize they're not doing this by themselves. And so my aha moment for me really came about when I was being challenged to really look at the way that Prestige is operating today and challenging me to kind of step my game up. And so here's one of the things I want you to know. So here's the deal. I do really well when I interact with different people. Goodness, my email and my text messages just going crazy, so I do apologize for all the sounds. But anyway, one of the things that I feel is really important is that when you build a business, you must truly understand two things. One being that you need to understand what your purpose is. And then the second thing being, who are you providing a service to? So really getting smart about your targeted market. Now, guys, as we go along with this conversation, as we get a little bit into the podcast, I do really well when I can see that there's people out there who are able to apply some of the things that are going on in their business, if they can apply things that we talk about in the podcast. So do me a favor. I want you to @me at Women of Prestige in Instagram, just to share or show how you are kind of applying these things that we're talking about to your business. Or you can definitely do the hashtag Pink Radio with Prestige. And if you have a comment or something that you want to kind of share, I would love to recognize you on my podcast. So give your girl a shout out. Let me know you're out there listening, and I will do the same. So with that being said, let's talk about this feeling of really understanding what your purpose is with your business and then who your target demographic is. The reason why you're going to look at the podcast in these manners is because when you really understand that your business is created and designed on purpose, what you're able to do is then say, okay, great. That means that if it's aligned to my specific business, that means that I have been given these talents, these gifts to be able to help a target demographic move forward with an issue that they are experiencing. And my services, my products, my business will be the solution, will be the unique solution to their problem. So why do I add the word unique? Well, it's unique because if it's not unique, then that means they can go to you or the 10,671 other businesses that look similar to your business. But once it's unique, then what you do is then you begin to close the gap and you are able to tell people this is why they need to choose you specifically. And when it becomes unique, then it allows you to really target in on a niche group of people who you are able to say, I want to help you. Now, here's the deal. when you do all of these things, what tends to happen is that we begin to fall in love with our business. It's so funny. I was looking at some old pictures, kind of going through like Instagram and looking at old things, and I could not help but to say, I really love Prestige. Like, I love my company. I literally wear my Prestige brand everywhere. If I don't wear it on a nameplate, I have my purse that literally says Empower and Enlighten the Elite, which is a play on our tagline, which is Empower, Enlighten, Elite. I have my desktop wallpaper that has the Prestige logo. I have a notebook for our Prestige Boss Academy. Like, I'm like nonstop with the Prestige branding, and I realize I really truly love the brand. But that's different than saying I really love the one specific product or service that we provide. And that is something that I really don't feel like I'm really married to. I date it. Let me give you an example of what I mean by that. So in the book, Dear Founder, there's a portion or a section in the book where one of the millionaire women CEOs gives her feedback to, excuse me, to women. And what she says is that no one should ever fall in love with the solution, but instead you should fall in love with the problem. So because I don't fall in love and I don't feel married to my solution, it gives me the ability to be very flexible with revisiting. Am I really providing the right solution for my targeted audience? So in my recent journey, I worked with a coach who basically said to me, hey, you know, I want you to rethink the way that people experience Prestige. And that literally sparked a full out relaunch of Prestige. Like, it didn't happen like that at that moment. I mean, when I was closed, I was not really willing to hear it. I prayed on it, fell asleep, woke up, and literally woke up with my spirit on fire and began to really go on this search with this coach on like what really is my targeted market and what are really the solutions that I need to be able to provide to that targeted market for right now. And how would that look for those who are currently very active with the Prestige brand today? And so from that, I literally created a whole workflow, a visual storyboard, held a lunch and learn with all of my existing members, shared my information with them, got their feedback, and we're literally closing our memberships today, which is May 1st, and will not reopen until July 1st when we relaunch our new program. So with that, it's like absolutely so interesting to see how I was able to move very easily from what stands today. Through prayer, through meditation, and through moving in my purpose, I was able to move in the spirit. Now, like I said, when I first had the phone call, I was kind of in a space where I was like, listen, I don't really know how I feel about this. Nicole, listen, be open. Nicole, be open. And when you have to tell yourself be open, that means you're not all the way there. But what was really cool was that I was able to move nonetheless. Even while being afraid, I was able to move. I was able to really increase what I would be charging for my services, still staying very competitive in pricing in comparison to my peers. I was able to really hone in on services that were going to meet the needs for a target demographic. I was really able to even revisit who I thought my target demographic was. And as I moved, I was afraid. I was afraid that members would not think that people would join Prestige after we would relaunch. I remember being afraid that the price was still too high, although I know that there are others out there who really still focused on, the old way. I was really focused on figuring out, well, what am I going to do if no one signs up? What if no one really feels like they want to kind of come over to the new platform? But one thing that helped me move out of fear was one, having some real conversation with myself about where I was in my business. And what's so funny is I was talking to my mom about it and I was like, I'm not even in the game. I thought I was in the game. But when you start to see how your peers are moving, you're like, wait a minute, I'm not even in the parking lot trying to find a scalper for tickets to the game. Like, I'm outside in the parking lot just wondering, how am I going to get in? That's how far off I was with my pricing. And that alone let me know that with the value that I have with my business, I needed to change some things. I also realized that I know that everything that I'm doing is aligned to my purpose. And when I started to pray about who I wanted to help, I was unapologetic about saying that certain people just are not in my purview anymore. And every time I would talk about it to someone or someone would ask me a question, the fact that I was able to feel confident in what it was that I was actually projecting or proposing as the new platform, it let me know that although I was afraid to move into this space, that now I have confirmation that I'm aligned. So here's what I want you to do. So I have 3 tips as always that I want you guys to take away. Because like I said, I truly believe that I go through these things so that I can share and so you can learn. And I'm very transparent about what I feel because I feel like if I'm not transparent, then there's no lesson for you to learn. So the first thing I want you to do is I really want you to think about, what in the world are you really trying to do with your business? When you think about it overall, there's a talent that you have, a passion that burns so much in your spirit. So, what is the thing that you really believe you are placed on this earth to accomplish with your brand? And once you've identified that, I want you to then remove yourself from the equation. So we're going to move to number 2. So going back, because I know I talk really quickly, so I want to make sure this is very clear. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to identify what it is you want to accomplish with your brand. What do you believe the purpose of your brand's existence truly is? Once you have identified that particular thing, I want you to remove you out of the equation. Take yourself on out because, like I said, it's not about you. It's about your purpose, and then it's about those who you are providing services for. So when you do that and you begin to think about those who you are providing a service for, I want you to tell me, what is it that you truly believe that your demographic needs? What do you truly think that they need? And there's a second part to that question. So once you tell me what they need, I want you to then tell me, how have they told you that? So this is why I need you to understand this piece of it. A lot of times we speak so confidently about what this demographic needs, but yet the reality is we are speaking on that from the lens of ourselves. Now, I just asked you to remove you from the equation. So that means that you can't tell me what you think this demographic needs. What I want to know is how did you get this information? So how has your target demographic expressed that there is this need that your business is on this earth to provide a service to them for? So think about that for a moment, okay? And once you're able to, and for instance, for me, of course, there's things like reports or surveys or trending reports out there around what's happening to women entrepreneurs, as well as me getting out there, right? So I go to networking events and I ask women all the time, what do you do? And I always ask 2 very simple questions. What excites you about your business? And what are some of your biggest challenges? Because I want to know. It's like my own little focus group whenever I go out, and they don't know. They just think it's conversation, and I don't know. I just like learning about women who are in my target demographic. Why? Because I fall in love with their problems, not with my solution. Their problems let me know what the need is. They let me know how I can stay relevant to my industry. But yet, when we move into this space of moving into, only falling in love with our brand, then we are inflexible. We are unable to adapt and stay relevant because we're so focused on the one baby that we've raised, that we've created and taken care of all this time. So once you have identified what it is that you want to accomplish, you figure out what is the need that you are solving for from your targeted demographic, and how have you gotten that information from your targeted demographic, then I want you to tell me, what can you see as far as I don't know if I want to call it misalignment, but how aligned are you? One of those things where you can say, I'm trying to think of an example, but I can't think of one right off the bat. But do you know when someone says to you, I can give you a perfect example actually. So let's just say, and I'm going to use a nonprofit that I used to be involved with as an example. And because I love where this nonprofit is going now and how they've been able to turn around, I feel very comfortable in using this as an example because I know there's an upswing and an upside to the story. So I remember working with this founder at the time, and a college admissions or administrator came to her and said, "Hey, I love this nonprofit. We need to have a chapter at the college." And this was a great idea. This would have been an awesome opportunity for this nonprofit. So what happened is the founder began in our mastermind to work on all of the requirements, the stipulations that were necessary for her to create a chapter for this particular university. So in doing so, it was a lot of work. Like, she had to recreate her mission statement, then she had to go and find people. You had to have a certain amount of members in order for you to substantiate a chapter there. But one of the things that was a roadblock for her was how to reach the masses. She did not know where her target demographic was. I mean, she didn't know if they stayed on campus or if they were commuting because of the kind of company or nonprofit that she was. 9 times out of 10, they were probably commuters. And if they were commuters, then how does she reach them if they're not on campus seeing some of the flyers that she put up? And because she was not a college chapter or charter just yet, she could not have meet and greets on the college campus to recruit members. And so one of the things that I said to her is, I love that this college administrator kind of like, in reality, said, "Oh, this is a great idea," gave you the ball and kind of left you to run with it. But what I would be even more interested in knowing is, how does she know that there is a need? How many individuals who are in your target demographic have come to her and said, "I need assistance"? Because if there's a pool of information or a pool of people that we can then be able to start contacting, then that'll make it very easy for you to be able to let them know that now that you have shared that you need this resource is here. But yet, what we realized was that really wasn't happening, or the people weren't really going to her. This person just had a great idea and thought it would be a great idea to have that chapter there. That is when you create a product or a solution for a target demographic without the target demographic telling you that we need you, or without there being data showing that there is a need. Because sometimes your target demographic doesn't even know that they need you. Let's just be honest. Steve Jobs did not wait for the masses to say, "Excuse me, Steve, but can you make an iPhone?" Right? Like, he knew that there was a way to create something that was so streamlined in your life that you would just drool over the thought of owning something like that. Owning something where, honestly, you can get your email, surf the net, still listen to your iPod, and take phenomenal pictures all with one phone. No one said, "Can you create this for us?" This is something that he allowed innovation to drive him to make. But what he put in front of the masses was that this is why you need it. So sometimes your target demographic does not know what they need, but when you look at things like data or trends, you're able to identify where there's a void and how your business can fill that gap. But that's what was missing. There was no data showing this particular founder where the need really or truly existed, other than an administrator saying, "You should start this here." So when you go through steps 1 and 2, when you identify and you figure out, and I need you to have some alone time. So once again, if you're listening in, I want you, if you're writing these things down, take a snapshot, tag me at Women of Prestige, or do hashtag Pink Radio with Prestige. I want to see your growth, and let me know what you're doing, because I also want to be able to celebrate you when I record the next podcast, because that's what we do over here at Pink Radio with Prestige. We believe in really uplifting our sisters in success. So here's the deal. Once you identify really what you believe your business is placed on this earth to accomplish, and then you're able to talk about really what solution do you provide to your targeted demographic, and how have they shared or explained or illustrated that there is a need, Once you've done that, I want you to then identify if there are any gaps or areas of synergy. So let me explain to you what I mean by that. Areas of synergy for me mean alignment. So if you can truly see that what you hope to accomplish, what you are providing as a solution to your target demographic, and how they have explained to you how they need that need, then you are great. You are aligned. There's areas of synergy. There's overlap. There's areas where you are meeting the need and all is well. But if you find that you're missing the mark, think about what you're experiencing. And I don't want you to operate in a place of fear or even be afraid to do this. I need you to brush away all areas of fear and not be afraid so that we can make sure that you are now operating in a space where you feel fulfilled. Because there's nothing worse than working this business. There's a baby that you've curated, the very thing that you love, and then not be able to be successful at it. Like, you were passionate about it for a reason. Now, let me tell you why the upside really worked with this particular nonprofit, because there was the school district, actually high school, that contacted this same nonprofit, said that they had the need. These are the students that we have and the number of students, and these are the kind of programs that we're looking for, and can you come in and fill that need? Now, that's great. There's that alignment, right? There's a solution that's being offered to the target demographic that's aligned with their purpose and what they believe that they were put on this earth to accomplish in the world. And then they're able to say, hey, and this is the space that we need you to operate in, because we have these people here who need your services and your programs. We have this space where programs need to actually operate in, because right now there is a void. And now that's all in alignment. So think about what you're currently doing. Are you creating beautiful handbags that are for a certain targeted demographic? So let me just explain to you what I mean. If your purpose is to use your wonderful talents to create beautifully handmade leather goods, or vegan leather goods for that matter, so that women feel so confident and chic and stately when they go out into the world. And when you begin to think about your target demographic, and your target demographic should make about $45,000 to $60,000 a year, but because the price of material is so expensive, to just get something as simple as a clutch may run about $200 to $300 just so that you can get a return on investment with your handbag. You may find that you aren't really solving the problem for this particular targeted audience, because although they want to feel beautiful and chic, there are other opportunities for them to have their needs met at a lower price point. If there's something unique about this, then that's where you would need to really help talk about the void and how you fill the void. But if you feel like you aren't selling enough, then there's a misalignment somewhere that you need to understand in order for you to move forward. And I don't want you to be afraid about what that misalignment is, or even figuring out what it is. And to help you move past fear, the one thing that helps you move past fear is information, but not like any information, because information can come to you in a number of ways, and in the most simplest of terms, it can come to you in facts and in opinions. And information and opinions is a very dangerous space to be in, because that's what you do as an entrepreneur all day long. You tell yourself whether or not you can be successful based off of your opinions, which is detrimental to your business. Why are you making a business decision off of your frame of reference, which is like minimal in the area that you're in? Like, I can't tell you how many people, when I coach them, tell me what they can't do based off of their opinion, and they don't even really know much information about the very thing they just told themselves they can't do. We do it every single day. Oh, I can't get anyone to do capital funding. Well, how do you know? How many times have you been rejected before you heard that yes? Oh, none, because you were too afraid to even enter a pitch contest? Then that's kind of on you. Like, that's not facts, that's opinions. So there's two different ways you can get information. fact or opinions. In this case, you always want to gather factual information. Once you're able to look at the factual information, even if the factual information shows you that you have to change what you're doing and it makes you afraid, it's okay. And it should help diminish the fear more and more when you understand that what you're looking at is factual. And let me give you an example using myself. Thinking about changing my platform and really increasing the prices, honestly, even the price where I've increased it to, I know my coach is gonna look at the prices and be like, girl, that was a cute try and I'm gonna need you to up it even more. But when I first upped it, I literally felt ill, like sick to my stomach, and it did not sit well with me. And I was like, no one is going to pay this. I mean, like, just fearful of it, right? And like I said, I have to be honest because that's really for me, like, I don't have any shame. I'm human. Like, I'm not perfect, and nor do I proclaim to be, and nor do I wish to be. But because I do not wish to be perfect, I feel like that gives me freedom in being honest. So, I really was just in this space where I was just like, I was really afraid. And one of the things that I use as factual data is I began to look at pricing lists of people who are considered my peers. And that's factual data, right? Their price is their price for all of their programs that they offer, for all of their services that they provide. And at the end of the day, I literally was missing out on tens of thousands of dollars per person, per program. So what that does for me is not say, oh, I need to make my pricing exactly like theirs, because I don't believe that's the case at all. But what it did, it removed the fear of what ifs. It removed the fear of, should you really increase your pricing? It removed the fear of, what if no one decides to come on board? And the reason being is because at the end of the day, there are people out here who invest in their businesses. And what I do know is that what I provide is of value. And once again, that's not my opinion. That is my consistent feedback that I receive from my members. So because of that, it is very important for me to move past the fear and to realize that I need to change the way in which I operate. And I feel like there's two things that like freak us all out as girl bosses, right? So moving past fear, like fear is real, honey. Let me tell you what fear will do to a girl boss. Fear will, and I talked about this in the past podcast, so please excuse me if I'm being redundant, but fear will cause you to say, I am sure that I cannot do A, B, and C because of these reasons. And what I love about excuses, because that's all fear really is. Fear gives you the ability and the justification to make an excuse. And then it allows you to dress this excuse up real cute and make it a reason, right? And so you're like, oh, I can't do this because I'm a mom. I can't do this because I work a 9-to-5. I can't do this because no one will support me. I can't do this because I don't have the capital funding to do so. I can't do this because I'm not ready. I can't do this because I have to pray on this first. Like, listen, that literally is an excuse. It's not a reason, it's an excuse. And that's what fear does. So when I just said two things, I said fear and I said change. And these are two things that drive us up the wall, because one thing is that fear is disguised as an excuse. And because it's an excuse, it becomes justifiable. It becomes so justifiable and so solid that this is the reason why we will not move forward in our purpose. And then change. What do you mean? Change is the very thing that will make you go into the unknown. So those are two very things that drive us up the wall. That if we can try to no longer encounter those two things, we really try not to. So when you look at your list, and this is what I want you to do, remember, and I'm going to keep talking about these three things because I want you guys to do this. The first thing is you're going to identify, what are you put on this earth? What is your business? What is it put on this earth? Why is it in existence? Why is it operating today? What is it supposed to accomplish? Okay? What do you truly believe in the spirit, like the core of your soul? What do you believe you are supposed to accomplish with your brand? I believe that I am supposed to close the gap of disparity between female entrepreneurs and our male counterparts. I believe that with the right tools and information and access that we can be just as powerful as our male counterparts. And I believe that if we continue to use other things, whether it's social constraints or excuses that are dressed up as reasons, as why we are not moving forward, that we will not win. So my goal is to light a fire in every girl boss who is willing to take that challenge. I'm here to light a fire in their belly to experience and accomplish their incredible. I believe it with every fiber of my body. I get chills every time I say it. And I believe that whenever you decide to move into that space of saying, I'm going to light this world on fire, you realize you're going to light your whole entire world on fire with intentional purpose. That is why Prestige has been placed in existence today and forevermore. That's what I truly believe. And I also believe that what I am doing is I am solving an issue for the girl boss who has just taken her first step out as an entrepreneur, who is unsure of what to do next and who feels completely alone because her friends don't get it. Her man or significant other doesn't understand. Her parents want her to just follow the safe road of working a 9 to 5 and retiring. And she just doesn't know if she really can do this and where to start. That's who I am providing a solution for. And I know that she's out there because I see it in the trends. I see the numbers of how low we are, and yet we are very high in our existence and being out there and registering our businesses, but yet we are very low in the amount of capital funding that we receive. And I see it also when I go out and I speak to them one-on-one. I know it when I encounter women who come to me and ask me questions. So I know that my intentions are definitely in alignment with the need because they told me so. You got it? But prior to this change with Prestige, what I realized was missing was I was trying to get every woman entrepreneur out there. And when you do that, you are casting a really large net and you just hoping to catch anything. And honey, it just is crazy. And what I realized is that I needed to create a program that really got them acclimated to this world of being a purposeful entrepreneur. And then once they graduate from that program, then they're able to network confidently amongst some fearless girl bosses who can help them help each other along the way. I mean, come on now. I get excited thinking about it. But I had to change it because I had to look at it. I did these 3 steps. And when I got to number 3, I saw I was missing something. I was missing helping women collaborate with one another. I was missing helping women get it. I was trying to get them involved, but they didn't understand the very basics. But I was jumping in trying to teach them calculus, but yet they failed to understand algebra. I mean, not really, that's symbolically, guys. So because of that, I really realized that once, talking to my coach and she helped me get it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had to rethink this. So when you get to number 3, don't be afraid of where you are going because you are aligned to your purpose. And that means you have to shift. You have to shift because right now you're operating in a space that's not going to allow you to move forward. And I need you to understand that that's not what's intended for you, your business, because there's others who are supposed to be receiving a blessing because of your business. So we're going to stop allowing the enemy to win by introducing fear to the equation. We are going to step confidently in our purpose, and let's go ahead and try to do numbers 1, 2, and 3 so you guys can get some help and really understanding what it is that you need to be able to accomplish with your business. All right, guys, that's it from me. I done talked your ear off. Every time I get on here, I swear I'm going to do 15 minutes and then I end up doing 34 minutes and 43 seconds. So I'm so sorry. So listen, guys, have a wonderful, awesome, and phenomenal week. If you please go onto your social media, please at me, at Women of Prestige, okay? And show me what you're working on and what aha moments you had. If you are aligned, let's celebrate it together. I want to be able to share your handles and share your journeys with my listeners as well. All right, guys, have a great day. Bye.